The morning sun rose over the small town of Hainem in the Korean countryside. Birds sang in the trees. Farmers worked in their fields. It was a normal day. No one knew that everything was about to change. Captain Tae walked along his usual patrol route near the edge of town. He was 52 years old with gray hair cut short. His face showed the lines of someone who had seen many hard days. Once he had been a soldier in the army. Now he led the town's small defense team. It wasn't much work in peaceful times. Most days he just checked the roads and helped lost tourists. Tae stopped at the top of a small hill. From here, he could see most of the town and the green forests beyond. He took a deep breath of the clean morning air. Something felt wrong today. The birds had stopped singing. That's when he saw it. A dark shape in the clear blue sky. Then another. And another. What in the world? He whispered. The shapes grew larger. They weren't planes. They weren't like anything Tae had ever seen before. They were smooth and black with no wings. They moved in a way that nothing from Earth could move. Tae grabbed his radio. "Jin, are you there? Come in." The radio crackled. "I'm here, Captain." "What's wrong?" "Look up." There was a long pause. Then Jin's voice came back, shaking. "What are those things?" "I don't know. But get everyone together. Now." By the time Tae ran back to town, people were already pointing at the sky. The shapes were now clearly ships. Huge ships that blocked the sun as they slowly moved over Hainem. They were at least a kilometer long, with strange lights pulsing along their sides. Tae found Jin in the town square. Jin was 30 years old and had been a police officer before joining Tae's defense team. His face was pale as he looked up. "Should we call Seoul?" Jin asked. Tae shook his head. "I already tried. All the lines are dead. No phone. No internet." More people gathered in the square. Some were crying. Some were taking pictures with their phones. An old man was praying out loud. Then the air changed. It became heavy and hard to breathe. A bright light shot down from the largest ship. It hit the ground just outside town. The earth shook. A cloud of dust rose into the air. "Everyone get inside!" Tae shouted. "Now!" But it was too late. From the dust cloud came figures. They were tall, much taller than any human. They walked on two legs but looked nothing like people. Their skin was gray and rough, like the bark of a tree. They wore armor that gleamed in the sunlight. Each one carried what looked like a weapon. "Are those aliens?" Jin whispered. Tae didn't answer. He was watching the tallest of the strange beings. This one wore red armor instead of black. It raised a hand, and the others stopped walking. Then, the red-armored alien spoke. Its voice was deep and rough, like rocks grinding together. Somehow, a small device on its belt translated its words into Korean. "People of Earth," it said. "I am Overlord Drex of the Kryvax Empire. Your planet is now under our control. Resist, and you will be killed. Submit, and you may live as our workers." For a moment, no one moved. No one spoke. Then a young man ran forward. He had a farming tool in his hands. He charged at the aliens. A flash of blue light came from one alien's weapon. The young man fell to the ground. He didn't get up. Screams filled the air. People ran in all directions. The aliens raised their weapons. "Stop!" The red-armored alien, Drex, held up a hand. "We need workers. Stun only." Blue flashes filled the air. People fell where they stood. Tae grabbed Jin's arm and pulled him behind a building. "We need to get out of here," Tae said. "We need to find weapons." Jin's eyes were wide with fear. "What weapons? We have nothing that can fight those things." Tae thought quickly. The old military base in the mountains, it was closed years ago, but there might be something left there. That's a 2-hour hike. Then we'd better start walking. As they slipped away from the town, they saw more aliens landing. Some were unloading large machines from their ships. Others were rounding up the stunned townspeople. Tae and Jin stayed in the trees, moving quietly. They had almost reached the edge of the forest when they heard a sound behind them. Both men turned, ready to run. It was a young woman named Yuna. She was 25 with short black hair. Her face was dirty and her clothes were torn. She worked at the local school. "Captain Tay," she whispered, "let me come with you." "It's too dangerous," Tay said. "They took my family," Yuna said. Her eyes were red from crying, but her voice was steady. "I need to help them." Before Tay could answer, two more people appeared, from the trees. One was Day, a mechanic from the gas station. The other was Sung, who owned the local grocery store. "We want to help too," Day said. Tay looked at the four of them. None were soldiers. None had fought before, but their eyes showed something that gave Tay hope, determination. "Fine," he said, "but stay quiet and do exactly what I say." The small group moved through the forest, climbing higher into the mountains. From time to time, they could see the alien ships hovering over their town. Strange lights flashed. Smoke rose from buildings. "Why are they doing this?" Yuna asked as they rested by a small stream. "What do they want?" "Resources, probably," Tay said. "Maybe slaves. It doesn't matter. What matters is how we fight back." Jin looked at him in shock. "Fight back? Did you see those weapons? That armor? They're too strong." "No one is too strong," Tay said quietly. "Everyone has a weakness. We just need to find theirs." After 2 hours of hard climbing, they reached a chain-link fence. Beyond it stood concrete buildings covered in vines and moss. The gates hung open, rusted and forgotten. "This is it," Tay said. "The old base." "It looks empty," Sung said. "On the surface, yes, but there's an underground level. That's where they kept the vehicles and weapons." They entered the base carefully. The main buildings were just as abandoned as they looked. Papers scattered on. The floor had turned yellow with age. Chairs were covered in dust. Nature was slowly taking back the place. Tay led them to a heavy metal door at the back of the largest building. It took all 5 of them to push it open. The hinges screamed in protest. Beyond was a dark stairway leading down. "I don't like this," Day said. "It's our only chance," Tay replied. He took out a small flashlight and led the way down. The underground level was a large garage. Rows of vehicles sat in the darkness. Most were just empty frames, stripped of useful parts years ago. But at the far end, something large sat covered by a heavy tarp. Tay walked toward it, heart beating fast. He pulled the tarp away. Under all the dust and cobwebs was a tank, an old K2 Black Panther tank. Its once green paint was faded and rusted in spots, but it looked mostly intact. "Is that thing even going to work?" Jin asked. "I don't know," Tay said, "but I'm going to find out." As they looked at the forgotten war machine, they heard a sound that made their blood run cold. From above came the hum of alien ships. The Kryvax had found them. The sound of alien ships grew louder above the old military base. Tay and his small group stood frozen next to the dusty tank. "Turn off the lights," Tay whispered. They stood in complete darkness. The only sound was their breathing and the hum of the alien ships outside. Minutes passed. The humming grew fainter. Then it was gone. "They didn't see us," Jin said with relief. Tay turned his flashlight back on. "They will soon. We need to work fast." He walked around the tank, checking it from every angle. The others watched him, not sure what to think. The machine looked old and broken. How could it help them against aliens with advanced weapons? "My father was a tank driver," Tay explained. "He taught me everything about these machines. This is a K2 Black Panther. It was the best tank Korea ever made." "But it's so old," Yuna said. "Old doesn't mean useless," Tay replied. He opened a hatch on top of the tank and looked inside. "The inside is dry. That's good. Can you make it work?" Sung asked. "Maybe, but I need help." Tay looked at the group. "Does anyone know about engines?" Dai stepped forward. "I'm a car mechanic. It's not the same, but it's close enough," Tay said. "Let's get to work." For the next 2 days, they worked on the tank. Day and Tay focused on the engine. Jin and Sung searched the base for fuel and supplies. Yuna kept watch from a small window looking for alien ships. The work was hard. Many parts were rusted or broken. They had to clean, fix, or replace them. Sometimes they used parts from other vehicles in the garage. "This feels impossible," Jin said on the second night. They sat around a small fire they had made in a metal bucket. They were tired and dirty. "Nothing is impossible," Tay said. "We just need time." "We don't have time," Yuna said. Her voice was sad. "Every hour more people from our town are being taken away. I saw the aliens loading them onto ships today." Tay stood up. "Then we work through the night." By the morning of the third day, they had made progress. The engine was clean. The fuel tanks were full. The main gun was loaded with the few shells they had found in a locked box. "Let's try to start it," Tay said. He climbed inside the tank and sat in the driver's seat. The controls were familiar to him from his father's lessons. He pressed the start button. Nothing happened. He tried again. Still nothing. "The battery is dead," Day said, looking over Tay's shoulder. "We need a jump start," Tay said. "Like with a car." They found cables in the garage and connected the tank's battery to a truck battery they had found. Tay tried again. The tank made a noise. Then another. Then the engine roared to life. Black smoke poured from the exhaust pipes. The whole tank shook. "It works," Sung shouted, then covered his mouth. The noise might attract the aliens, but it was too late for silence. The engine was loud. Very loud. "Get in," Tay ordered. "All of you." They climbed into the tank. It was tight inside with all 5 of them. Tay sat in the driver's seat. Day took the gunner's position. Jin handled the radio, though it probably wouldn't work. Yuna and Sung squeezed into the back. "Now what?" Jin asked. Before Tay could answer, they heard a crash from above. The aliens had found them. "Now we fight," Tay said. He pushed the controls forward. The tank moved slowly at first, its tracks creaking. Then it picked up speed. Tay drove it toward the garage exit, a large tunnel that led up to the surface. As they reached the tunnel, blue flashes lit up the darkness. The aliens were firing at them. "They found us," Yuna cried. "Their weapons can't hurt us in here," Tay said. "The tank's armor is too thick." The tank climbed the tunnel and burst into the daylight. Outside, 6 tall aliens stood with their weapons raised. They fired again and again. Blue energy hit the tank but did no damage. "Day, can you use the gun?" Tay asked. Day looked at the gunner's controls. "I think so. It's like a video game." "Then shoot." Day pressed the trigger. The tank's machine gun fired. The sound was deafening inside the tank. 2 aliens fell. The others ran for cover. "We did it," Sung shouted. "That was just the start," Tay said. "We need to get out of here before more come." He drove the tank down the road away from the base. The tank was slow, but powerful. It crushed small trees and rocks in its path. "Where are we going?" Jin asked. "Back to town," Tay said. "We need to see what we're up against." They drove for an hour. As they got closer to town, they saw more signs of the alien invasion. Trees were burned. Houses along the road were damaged. There were no people anywhere. They stopped on a hill overlooking Hainem. What they saw made them sick with anger and fear. The town was changed. Strange metal towers now stood where some buildings had been. Aliens walked the streets. Large ships sat in the fields outside town. Worst of all, they could see people, humans, working in groups, guarded by aliens with weapons. "They're using our people as slaves," Yuna said. Tears ran down her face. "We can't fight all of them," Jin said. "There are hundreds of aliens down there." Tay studied the town through the tank's viewing slit. "We don't need to fight them all, not at once." "What do you mean?" Day asked. "I was a soldier for 20 years, Tay said. "I know about guerrilla warfare. We hit them when they don't expect it. We damage what we can. Then we disappear before they can catch us." "With just one tank?" Sung asked. He sounded doubtful. "With car. 1 tank, 5 determined people, and the element of surprise," Tay said. Plus, we have one more advantage. What's that? Jin asked. They think humans are weak, Tay said. They think we're primitive. They won't expect us to fight back. Not like this. As they watched, a group of aliens left the town in a small ship. It flew toward the mountains. They're sending out patrols, Tay said. Looking for more humans to capture. Or looking for us, Day added. Either way, Tay said. It's our chance to show them they made a mistake coming here. He looked at each person in the tank. Are you with me? One by one they nodded. Then let's make a plan, Tay said. Tonight we strike. As the sun began to set, they moved the tank into the dense forest. They covered it with branches and leaves. From a distance it looked like part of the trees. Then they waited for darkness, and for the aliens to learn that humans were not as helpless as they thought. Night fell over the forest. The moon was hidden behind clouds. It was very dark. Perfect for an ambush. Tay gathered everyone outside the tank. They spoke in whispers. The aliens have set up a small camp on the North Road, Tay said. I saw it, from the hill. There are about 10 of them. They're guarding something, maybe a supply drop. 10 aliens against one tank, Jin said. Those are good odds. Don't get too confident, Tay warned. We still don't know everything their weapons can do. And we have limited ammunition. 6 shells for the main gun, and about 200 rounds for the machine gun. So we need to make every shot count, Day said. Exactly. Tay pointed to a rough map he had drawn in the dirt. The aliens have set up energy lights around their camp. That means they can't see well in the dark. We'll use that to our advantage. What's the plan? Yuna asked. We'll position the tank here in the trees. Tay pointed to a spot on the map. The road curves right in front of this position. When their patrol comes by, we'll hit them fast and hard. Then we disappear back into the forest before reinforcements arrive. What if they call for help? Sung asked. They will, Tay said. That's why we need to be quick. In and out in less than 2 minutes. They climbed back into the tank. Tay started the engine as quietly as possible. They drove slowly through the dark forest using only the dimmest lights to see. Nobody spoke. They were all afraid, but also determined. After 20 minutes, they reached the position Tay had chosen. Through the trees, they could see the alien camp on the road. Strange blue lights surrounded it. In the center was a large container. 6 aliens stood guard while 4 others worked on equipment. Perfect, Tay whispered. They don't expect any trouble. He turned to Day. Target the container first. It must be important to them. Day nodded. He looked through the gun sight and aimed the main cannon. On my signal, Tay said. He held up 3 fingers, then 2, then 1. Fire! The tank's main gun roared. The shell flew through the trees and hit the container. There was a massive explosion. The container wasn't just supplies. It was filled with something that burned bright blue when it exploded. 3 aliens died instantly. The others scrambled for cover, shouting in their strange language. Machine gun! Tay ordered. Day switched to the machine gun and fired at the running aliens. 2 more fell. The remaining aliens were firing back now. Blue energy bolts hit the trees around the tank. One hit the tank directly but just made a scorch mark on the armor. Forward. Tay pushed the controls, and the tank burst through the trees. Onto the road. The aliens saw the tank clearly for the first time. Even in the chaos, Tay could see the surprise in their posture. They clearly didn't expect to face a tank. One alien wearing more decorated armor than the others pulled out a different weapon. This one glowed green. Watch out! Jin shouted. The alien fired. A green bolt hit the tank. This time, the tank shook. A warning light came on inside. That hurt us, Tay said. Day, take that one out. Day fired the machine gun again. The bullets hit the alien's armor but didn't penetrate. The alien aimed for another shot. Use the main gun, Yuna cried. Day switched back to the main cannon and fired. The shell hit just in front of the alien, throwing it into the air. It didn't get up. Any more? Tay asked, scanning the area. I think that's all of them, Jin said. Wait, one is crawling away. It has something in its hand. It's calling for help, Tay said. Day? Day hesitated. The alien was injured, crawling, not fighting anymore. Day, we can't let it call for help, Tay said firmly. Day fired the machine gun. The alien stopped moving. Silence fell over the road. Smoke rose from the burning container. Dead aliens lay scattered around. We did it, Sung said. His voice shook with a mix of fear and excitement. We're not done, Tay said. We need to go. Now. He turned the tank around and drove back into the forest. Just as they disappeared among the trees, they heard the sound of alien ships approaching. That was close, Jin said. Too close, Tay agreed. But we hit them hard, and they never saw it coming. They drove deeper into the forest, taking a different route back to their hiding place. Everyone was quiet, thinking about what they had just done. They had killed aliens. The Earth was fighting back. What was in that container? Yuna finally asked. I don't know, Tay said, but it was important to them, and now it's gone. They reached a small clearing and stopped. The tank needed to cool down, and they needed to rest. It was still dark, but dawn wasn't far away. We should be safe here for a few hours, Tay said. As morning approached, Jin climbed out of the tank to keep watch. He returned quickly, his face pale. There's something you all need to see, he said. They followed him to the edge of the clearing. From there they could see the sky over Hanem. It was filled with ships, many more than before. They're bringing reinforcements, Tay said grimly. Because of what we did? Yuna asked. Maybe. Or maybe they were coming anyway. Tay watched the ships land near the town. Either way, our job just got harder. They went back to the tank. Day checked the ammunition. We have 5 shells left for the main gun, he reported, and about 150 rounds for the machine gun. Not enough for a direct fight, Tay said. We'll need to be smarter about our next attack. Should we wait? Sung asked. Maybe hide for a few days? Tay shook his head. No, they'll be looking for us now. We need to keep moving, keep hitting them. Never stay in one place too long. What's our next target? Jin asked. Tay thought for a moment. They've set up those towers in town. I think they're communication towers. If we can destroy one, it might disrupt their operations. The towers are in the middle of town, Yuna said. There will be many aliens guarding them. Yes, Tay admitted. It will be dangerous. But if we succeed, it will help everyone. They spent the day resting and planning. Day made small repairs to the tank where the green weapon had hit. Yuna and Sung gathered food from the forest. Jin and Tay scouted the area, making sure no alien patrols were nearby. That evening they heard a distant rumble. It wasn't thunder, it was explosions. Someone else is fighting, Jin said excitedly. Other resistance groups? Sung wondered. Maybe the army is finally responding, Day suggested. Whoever it is, they're giving us a chance, Tay said. The aliens will be distracted. We should move tonight. As darkness fell again, they prepared the tank. This mission would be the most dangerous yet. They would need to get close to the town, strike hard at the alien tower, and escape before they were surrounded. Are we ready? Tay asked, looking at each person in turn. They nodded, their faces serious but determined. Then let's show these aliens that Earth is not an easy target, Tay said. Let's show them what humans can do when we fight for our home. The way. Tank's engine roared to life. They moved out of the forest, heading toward the glow of alien lights in the distance. The next battle was about to begin. The tank moved slowly toward Hanem under the cover of darkness. Tay drove carefully, staying off the main roads. They used trees and hills for cover whenever possible. As they got closer to town, they could see the alien towers clearly. 3 tall metal structures stood where the town center used to be. They glowed with blue light. Strange energy pulses traveled up and down their sides. Those don't look like communication towers, Day said. They look like drills, Tay finished, his thought. They're drilling into the ground. For what? Yuna asked. Resources, probably, Tay said. That must be why they came to Earth. They stopped on a small hill about half a kilometer from town. From here, they could see everything. The town was transformed. Many buildings were gone, In their place were alien structures. The streets were full of aliens and their machines. Human prisoners worked in groups, moving heavy equipment and materials. There are too many aliens, Jin said. Hundreds of them. And too many of our people, Sung added. If we attack, they might get hurt. Tae studied the scene. Look there, he pointed. The aliens have a command center. It's that big structure next to the middle tower. How do you know it's a command center? Dae asked. More guards. Different colors on the building. And look, that must be their leader. Walking from the building was a very tall alien in bright red armor. Even from this distance, they could tell it was different from the others. It moved with authority, and the other aliens bowed slightly as it passed. Overlord Drex, Yuna whispered. The one who spoke when they first arrived. If we could take him out, Jin began. We would need to get much closer, Tae said, and we only have 5 shells left. So what do we do? Sung asked. Tae was quiet for a moment, thinking. Then he said, we need to create a distraction. Something to draw the aliens away from the command center. Then we can get closer and hit it directly. What kind of distraction? Dae asked. Fire, Tae said. The aliens seem to hate fire. Remember how that container exploded? They were very concerned about it. They formed a plan. Yuna and Sung would sneak into town on foot. They would set fire to an alien supply depot on the east side of town. When the aliens responded to that, Tae, Dae, and Jin would drive the tank in from the west and attack the command center. It's very dangerous for you two, Tae told Yuna and Sung. If you get caught, we won't, Yuna said firmly. We know every hiding place in this town. We grew up here. Sung nodded. We can do this. They waited until the darkest part of night. Then Yuna and Sung slipped away, carrying small containers of fuel they had taken from the military base. Good luck, Jin called softly after them. Tae, Dae, and Jin waited in the tank. Minutes passed. Then an hour. They were getting worried. Maybe they were caught, Jin said. We wait, Tae said. Give them time. Just when they were about to give up hope, they saw it. A bright orange glow appeared on the east side of town, then another, then a third. Fires were spreading through the alien supply depot. Alarms sounded. Aliens ran toward the fires, ships lifted off, heading to the east side of town. That's our signal, Tae said. He started the tank's engine. Let's go. They drove straight toward the town from the west. There were few aliens left on this side now. Most had gone to fight the fires. They reached the edge of town without being spotted. The streets were narrow, but the tank could just fit. Tae drove as fast as he dared. There's the command center, Dae said, pointing ahead. And it's mostly unguarded. Perfect, Tae said. Dae, get ready, we'll have one chance. They turned the final corner and faced the alien command center. It was a large, dome-shaped building with strange markings. Only 4 aliens stood guard at its entrance. The aliens saw the tank. They raised their weapons and fired. Blue energy hit the tank's armor. Now, Dae! Tae shouted. Dae fired the main gun. The shell hit the entrance of the command center. Stone and metal flew everywhere. The guards were thrown to the ground. Again, Tae ordered. Dae fired a second shell. This one went through the damaged entrance and exploded inside the building. A series of secondary explosions followed. The aliens had something volatile inside. Suddenly, a door opened on the side of the command center. Overlord Drex emerged, surrounded by guards. The alien leader looked directly at the tank. Even through its alien face, they could see its shock and anger. One more shell, Tae said quietly. Dae aimed carefully and fired. The shell flew straight at Drex and his guards. But at the last second, a guard pushed something on its wrist. A blue energy shield appeared around them. The shell exploded against it. It didn't work, Jin said in horror. Machine gun, Tae ordered. Dae switched to the machine gun and fired at the shield. The bullets couldn't penetrate it. Drex and his guards were moving toward a small ship parked nearby. We need to stop them, Jin said. Tae made a quick decision. Hold on. He pushed the tank forward at full speed. They crashed through debris heading straight for Drex's group. The aliens saw them coming. Some fired their weapons at the tank, others ran. Drex reached the ship. But before he could enter it, Tay drove the tank right into the ship itself. Metal screamed as the tank's tracks crushed part of the alien vessel. "Last 2 shells!" Tay shouted. Day fired at the ship. The first shell hit its engine. The second hit a fuel tank. The ship exploded in a ball of blue fire. The force of the explosion pushed the tank backward. When the smoke cleared, they saw Drex lying on the ground. His armor was damaged, but he was still alive. He stood up slowly, looking at the tank with what seemed like disbelief. "Surrender," Tay said, though he knew the alien couldn't hear him inside the tank. Instead, Drex pressed something on his wrist. Then he looked at the tank again. His alien face couldn't show human expressions, but his body language showed something new. Respect, or perhaps fear. A moment later, alarms sounded throughout the alien base. Different from the fire alarms, these sounded urgent, almost desperate. "What's happening?" Jin asked. They watched as aliens everywhere began running toward their ships. It wasn't an organized retreat, it looked like panic. "They're leaving," Day said in amazement. Sure enough, the alien ships were taking off. Even Drex was picked up by a small transport that swooped down for him. As he was carried away, he looked back at the tank one last time. Within minutes, most of the aliens were gone. Their towers stopped glowing. The drills stopped turning. Confused humans emerged from buildings, looking around in disbelief. "We did it," Jin said. "We drove them away." "Not us alone," Tay said. "Look." He pointed to the horizon where the sun was beginning to rise. In the distance, they could see military helicopters approaching, and beyond them, jets. "The army is coming," Day said. They finally organized a response. "That's why the aliens left," Tay said. "Drex must have gotten word that Earth's militaries were launching a coordinated attack. Our small victory here showed him that humans could fight back, that we weren't easy prey." As they watched, Yuna and Sung ran toward the tank. They were dirty and tired, but smiling. "You did it," Sung shouted. "We all did it," Tay said. More townspeople gathered around the tank. Some were crying, some were cheering. All looked at the rusted old tank with wonder. An old man approached Tay as he climbed out of the tank. "The aliens laughed at this old machine," the man said. "They thought it was just a piece of junk." "They were wrong," Tay said, patting the tank's worn metal side. "Sometimes the oldest weapons are the best ones, because they've proven themselves over time." As the military arrived and took control of the situation, Tay and his friends stood together, watching the last alien ships disappear into the morning sky. "Do you think they'll come back?" Yuna asked. "Maybe," Tay said. "But next time we'll be ready, and they won't underestimate us again." The rusted tank sat in the morning sunlight, its job done. It wasn't fancy or new, but it had saved a town, maybe even helped save the world. And it had taught the aliens an important lesson. Never mock what you don't understand.